Resident Evil Season 1 released to some massive criticism on Netflix this last month, but overall was an okay entry into the franchise. One big thing that fans wanted much more of in this series was a cameo from characters from the Resident Evil franchise, like Chris Redfield. Season 2 has been confirmed to have a fan-favorite character appear, but who else could show up? Well, stay tuned to today's video as we discuss the top 5 Resident Evil game characters fans would love to see in future seasons. First up, what happened in Season 1 that sets up more characters? With the first season of Resident Evil being released on Netflix, it looks like its fans have some hope for a second season. The first season might not have gone down super well with the wider Resident Evil fanbase, but the show has gathered its own small audience that are dedicated to this new era of the franchise. If you don't know already, Resident Evil on Netflix is a continuation of Albert Wesker's story from Resident Evil 5, but in an alternate universe. In this universe, the character has changed a decent amount and is somehow alive after his apparent death back in the finale of Resident Evil 5. Chris Redfield killed Wesker during the final fight, but it seems like he is somehow alive. The first season of Resident Evil on Netflix did a decent job of setting up this brand new version of Resident Evil, and it was looking pretty good from trailers and even some early reviews from places like IGN and Game Informer. Sadly, when the show actually released to the public, it arrived with pretty poor reviews. It's not as bad as the Resident Evil Return to Raccoon City that released last year, but it's still pretty bad for television and even video game adaptation standards. The ending of the series, however, did set up some really cool stuff for the future of this new show. In the series' final moments, we see Jade Wesker get a slip of paper from her father. She opens it up in 2022, and the name Ada Wong is written on it. If you somehow don't know who Ada Wong is, she is a massive antagonist throughout the Resident Evil franchise, first appearing in Resident Evil 2 and last appearing in Resident Evil 6. The character is a fan favorite, and her introduction to this brand new universe is really cool. What could her storyline be? And could she be introduced with another character like Leon Kennedy or even Jill Valentine? We will have to wait and see, as Resident Evil on Netflix has not been given a second season just yet. Hopefully in the coming months, the show gets greenlit for another outing, as seeing someone like Ada Wong on screen would be fantastic. According to a recent interview with Dab from Screen Rant, this isn't just a throwaway tease. Should the series get a season 2 from Netflix, Dab confirmed that Wong would 100% appear in the second season. As noted above, Netflix's live-action Resident Evil series is now available on the streaming platform. Netflix has yet to officially announce whether it has been renewed for another season. The show stars Lance Reddick as Albert Wesker, Ella Balinska, Tamara Smart, Sienna Agudong, Adeline Rudolph, Paolo Nunez, Ahad Razamir, Connor Gozati, and Turlo Convery. Andrew Dabb, Supernatural, serves as showrunner/executive producer/writer, with Mary Leah Sutton as executive producer/writer. Further executive producers include Robert Kulzer and Oliver Bourbon of Constantin Film. Constantin Film CEO Martin Moskovitz also serves as a producer. So who else could appear in upcoming seasons of the show? Let's get into it. Number 5, Ethan Winters. Ethan Winters is a massive character that we could get appearing in next season's Resident Evil. Despite him only being the protagonist of both Resident Evil 7 and 8 and having no canonical face to him, he might be a great fit for the show, as he could teach the other characters how to survive in such a hostile environment. Ethan hasn't really dealt with many zombies during his time in the Resident Evil franchise, but Resident Evil 8 saw him fight some of the biggest and baddest enemies in the franchise yet. Having a character follow on from Ethan in the TV series would be awesome, and would allow people who just got into Resident Evil through the show a direct link to the recent games. Despite being the 7th and 8th installment in the Resident Evil franchise, both of these games aren't heavily tied to the mythos of the series, so getting into it around now would be perfect. Especially with the Resident Evil 8 DLC coming up in the next few months, promoting Season 2 with Ethan Winters would be awesome. What do you think about this one? Let us know below. Number 4, Claire Claire Redfield. The Redfield family is a very important part of the overall Resident Evil myths, and to Wesker himself. Though Claire isn't as tied to Wesker as her brother Chris, she is definitely tied because of her family name, and is overall important for Resident Evil. She obviously appears in Resident Evil 2 and in her own spin-off series, as well as making her last appearance in Resident Evil 6. Claire is also the protagonist of multiple films alongside Leon Kennedy, who appeared in Resident Evil 2 as well. She would be a perfect fit for this series, as dealing with the offspring of her brother's archenemy would be very interesting to see. Of course, this is also a completely different Resident Evil universe, but things should have been the same in the past, so Claire might be slightly different than we knew her in the games. Number 3. Chris Redfield. Following on from Claire, Chris Redfield also very much needs to appear in this series at some point. Despite this universe being a continuation of Resident Evil 5, it's actually much different than the games portrayed. This version of the universe saw Wesker somehow live after the events of Resident Evil 5's ending. In this ending, Chris Redfield threw Wesker into a volcano during their final fight, and as we know in later games, he thinks Wesker is dead. Him finding out that Wesker not only has 2 daughters, but was also alive past the point he remembered would be an awesome reveal, and his relationship with those kids could be interesting to see on screen. He might have a lot of distaste for the 2 kids, but he might also take them on under his wing, as he has done with Ethan Winter's daughter in later timelines. Chris Redfield would be the perfect inclusion for the next season, as he is also tied to the next few characters we're going to talk about on this list. Number 2. Jill Valentine. Jill Valentine is another character heavily connected to Wesker in the series, and is also connected to Chris Redfield. In Resident Evil 5, it is revealed that Wesker had kidnapped Jill Valentine after a mission and brainwashed her. This should have happened in the television series timeline, but it was not confirmed during the first season. This means that Jill Valentine might also have some hatred for Wesker in this universe, so she could go after his kids once she discovers they're alive. In fact, she could also team up with Chris Redfield in this situation, as they both go to finish off the bloodline once and for all. This sort of storyline was picked up in Resident Evil 6, as Wesker's son appeared in that game as well. Once Chris figured out who he was, he started to attack and hunt him down, but was later stopped thanks to Leon Kennedy. This would be the perfect combo for this next season, as the 2 are already looking for Ada, so seeing Jill and Chris hunt them down would be awesome. We don't know who could play them, but many actors would be more than up for the role. Finally, number 1. Leon Kennedy. Leon Kennedy is our final pick for characters that could show up in the next season of Resident Evil, as fans would love this character's inclusion. There isn't much to say about Leon Kennedy, as he is the most popular by far in the franchise. The fans and the creators love this character, as they tried to include him in everything Resident Evil. Him appearing in the next series would also coincide with Resident Evil 4's remake, releasing sometime in 2023. This could be the perfect inclusion and tie-in for the character, but could also see a great live-action adaptation of Leon Kennedy, as it has been sorely lacking in other projects. Hopefully, Leon appears in next season, as he is also closely tied to Ada Wong. As we already know, she will be appearing at some point. We hope that the show gets another season, as it's going to be awesome seeing these characters brought to life once again. Please let us know down in the comment section below your thoughts on Resident Evil from Netflix, and if you think it deserves another season to carry on this brand new story. And that's the end of today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed this latest video. If you did, would you please let us know down in the comment section below? It would be very helpful. Make sure to like the video, comment down below, and of course subscribe to the channel with the notification bell rung. Thank you for watching today's video. Bye!